What's up, guys? It's John with NBC here today, and today's going to be a little bit different because we have this bad boy right here. That is a Joe Burrow Downtown Prism PSA 7, but will it stay a PSA 7? Stay tuned and find out. Alright guys, so like I just mentioned, we have this Joe Burrow Downtown, and we got a pretty darn good deal on this. We're going to go ahead and throw up our eBay totals for what we paid for this card. And what is interesting is if you go and look at the description, he says, very harsh grade, crack it, regrade, it will probably grade higher. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and throw it under the screen so you can see what we're dealing with here. So there it is. This is a Downtown 2020 Joe Burrow rookie prism from the Optic set. So really probably one of the most expensive cards that we have ever purchased. Very good pickup in my opinion. We paid about $650 for this shipped. And raw cards are going for like 800, 900 bucks. So really couldn't go wrong with this. I think worst case we crack it and sell it raw. But let's go ahead and take a close up on this. So right away, you notice the centering looks pretty dang good. So I think it's easiest to see the bottom here. So you have the same amount of area on the left as you do on the right, and the area on the bottom matches the amount of area on the right. So right there, that's the biggest thing that I've seen to see the centering on these cards. Now, next thing we're going to look at is the corners. Hopefully you can see this all right. The front looked pretty darn good, and really pretty darn good there. And on the back, see the void of damage, that will be damaged here in a second. The centering doesn't look bad, maybe slightly thicker on the right than on the left. As far as corners go, kind of hard to tell with the slab and the plastic around the slab, but they look pretty decent. Nothing like super noticeable that would make me want to not crack this card. So I can't really tell what the surface is just because the slab and the plastic make it look like there's scratches everywhere, but those I don't think are actually on the card. And we won't know that until we crack it. So with that said, let's go ahead, let's crack this thing. I got my crackers right here. One thing that I have noticed, as long as you have a little plastic sleeve around the slab when you crack it, typically that holds the shards in and protects you a little bit, so you don't necessarily need safety glass. I'm going to say that, and then you don't need them. Now, one thing about these PSA slabs, sometimes they are thinner than the other ones, so they don't crack as well, but that one cracked pretty dang good right there. There you go. And I think I noticed I don't have my screwdriver. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Got a screwdriver now. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna break this seal. We're gonna attempt to break the seal. There we go. And slide that out. And that corner should just come right off. We're gonna hope this is an easy one and it just cracks right apart, but stick the screwdriver in there, be real careful. Just kind of work it through. So far, so good. Be very careful not to touch the edge of the card here. Yeah, so we'll just kind of work it down. I'm caught on something. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm trying to look over the camera. Well, you know what? Let's flip it over and do this side. All right, and there it went. You can see it kind of slid there. Boom. That was a little nerve-wracking. So, just gonna let it drop out. And there it is, the Downtown. It does have that little protective case on it. Let's see what we are working for. That was nerve-wracking, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, I can see a print line that you can probably notice right there. that might clean off. We'll see, just a tiny scratch. Let me get a microfiber. Bear with me here. But I mean, overall, I got plastic on my fingers. Just be real gentle to wipe those off. It does not look all that bad. So, I mean, you can kind of see from the glare there, right below the optic, there is a little print line there. And then there might be a little scratch kind of like right in the center of the card above the print line, right there. What else do we see here? Nothing too major on this, honestly. Did it deserve a 7 for that? Maybe. Maybe for surface. Let's turn it over. I'm gonna do the same thing here because we do have a little bit of plastic. But let's see here. Okay, so that corner there, you see it? Right there. Does look a little pinched. And I could kind of see that through the case before I crack this. So might be able to smooth that out a little bit. We'll work on it a little bit. Which that probably dinged it a little bit more, I would think, than the scratch. But we'll work on both, see what we can do. I'll do some of that on camera here, and then I'll show you the final product in a second. But that's the Joe Burrow. This is a PSA 7, or at least it currently is. We'll see if we can make it jump up a little bit here when we send it back to PSA, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so we have a couple tools we're gonna try and utilize to repair this card as best we can. The first one, we do have this corner tool, came in the Kurtz Card Care set. It is just really a piece of tube on a stick. That's really all it is, but it is soft enough to where it's not going to damage your card when you rub up against the back to try and get any creases or edges fixed up. And the other thing we're going to use, we do also have the Kurtz Card Care wax for scratches, but then the secret weapon is McGuire's compound for, really it's a wax for cars. But we also have, that go along with that, is this is a sponge, a waxing sponge essentially, and so we'll use that to try and get the print line out of the card. But what we're gonna do before we work on the front is make sure we have a clean surface here, and we're gonna try and fix up that back edge. And hopefully you could see it from the last one, but right here in this corner, it is just a little bit crimped up. So we're just gonna kind of work it, try and just smooth it out as best we can. And this does take a little bit of patience. So you can still see it a little bit. We'll keep going a little bit longer. Just doing our best to try and smooth that little wrinkle out. Just got to be careful not to do it too much, or else you might actually have the card start to peel up, which you don't want. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to start working on the side, or on the front now. See if we can get that print line out, which you can see right there. So what we're going to do is first we are going to start with the Kurtz wax. We're going to take one of these little applicators that come with it. Hopefully you can see that. Get a little bit of wax on there. And then typically I will use a penny sleeve, just like so. I'm going to go ahead and just rub that on the surface of the card. Then we are going to get our microfiber and gently wipe it off. We're gonna do that for the bottom half, and what this does is it doesn't necessarily get the scratches out, but it will give it a nice shiny look, which is why we're applying it to the entire card. So now what we're gonna do is get a little bit more aggressive with it. We're gonna get a different applicator. I'm gonna shake up our McGuire's here. And just get a little bit on the end of the applicator. And we are going to apply it to that treble area that's kind of there at the top. You can go ahead and just apply a first coat to everything, which kind of helps with the evenness of it all, which is what I'm gonna do. All right, and then what you're going to do, get your little sponge and go to town on it. All right, so you can see it's still there. That print line right there, still there. Let's get a little bit more McGuire's, and we're just gonna repeat this process. So it's definitely there, but it's definitely fainter than it was before. So we're gonna go a little bit longer. Yeah, actually you can see it a little bit better there. See if we can get it just a little fainter. I think that we've definitely made a little bit of progress though. All right, let's see if it's any better. Can still barely see it, but it is definitely better. We'll give it another 10 minutes, see what we got. All right, so is it still there? Yes, but is it as noticeable? Not really. So yes, you can kind of see it if I shine the light right on it. But I'll put some side-by-sides here so you can see what it looked like at the beginning, what it looks like about 25 minutes later, and I'll let you be the judge. So we'll take a screenshot right there, put it next to the other one. Yeah, still definitely there, but 100% better. And now as far as the back goes, yeah, you can still see a little bit of curve on there, but the corner itself is pretty sharp. I think that this is going to be at least an 8, possibly a 9. Would be a little surprised if it came back at 9. I'd be very surprised if it came back at 10. But I mean, look how crisp this card is. This is definitely better than a 7 in my opinion. Very centered, very clean. The only thing, like I said on the front, is that print line you can see right there, and it's really not bad. I mean, when you're looking straight on the card, you don't even really see it. So it's just when you're looking under that intense light that I have there. So like right there, really can't see it. Even with the rainbow glow that you see on there, you don't even really see it. So definitely better. We're gonna send this off to PSA. It's going to be interesting to see what it comes back, but I would be surprised if it came back another 7. So that's it for this video. We'll see you on the reveal.